Hey friends, I'm Otis Gibbs, and this is my buddy Tim Carroll. He's going to talk about his friendship with the all-time great guitar player, Jimmy Capps.
Jimmy Capps was the guitar player who was the band leader of the Grand Ole Opry staff band. And so they would be the band that would back up any artist who came on the Grand Ole Opry who didn't bring their own band. And a lot of the artists who play on the Grand Ole Opry, they're not really supposed to bring their own band. They would kind of tell you, like, okay, we want you on the Opry this weekend. We want you to play with the Opry staff band, as opposed to bringing your own band. So the Opry staff band backed up many, many, many people. And I wound up playing with them, hundreds of times. And we even did If I Could, Then I Would, my song a few times, and with them playing it, if I could, and they always liked it because it was real upbeat. And for me, that was and they would give me a guitar solo on it. And I was like, what a thrill. I came from playing like rhythm guitar player in the Gizmos to now I'm playing lead guitar on the Grand Ole Opry, doing a song of mine, Anyway, Jimmy Capps was the band leader of the Opry staff band, and he had come from he had had a long career before that as a session player, as a live player. His first big thing that, as far as I know, it was in the 50s, and he became the guitar player for the Louvin Brothers. He took over for that guy, Paul Yandel, I think it was. There have been about 3 guitar players in the history of the Louvin Brothers who are the famous guys, and I think the first one may have been this guy, Paul Yandel, and then Jimmy Capps got the gig somewhere in there in about 56 or something. Jimmy is just an outstanding guitar player. I've never heard anybody play rhythm with this. Steady is not even the word. It's almost math. It's so exact. It's almost math, the way he would strum that guitar. And it would stand out because you've never heard anybody. Usually people are kind of like, jinga, jinga. I don't know. They're just getting the feel of it. They're in the vibe. This was like I say, it was almost like math. It was so perfect. And it would catch your ear the first time you would hear it. And then as the song went on, you would realize how perfect this was. How he was just like nailing this whole thing. So a lot of what he did on the Opry would be this rhythm playing. He'd be the guy laying down all the chords just real perfect and grinding that rhythm just perfect. But he was an excellent lead player, and he would play a lot of lead guitar too. And sometimes like playing with Spider Wilson or something, they do these 2 guitar things. And or Carrie, can't think of Carrie's last name, the younger guy that became a guitar player on the staff band. But Jimmy was in charge of that band, and he would make sure that the whole band was going to know the song. And he was a sweetheart of a guy. My gosh, he was always so kind to me. And Jimmy played on a lot of famous songs. Like I think Jolene. I think that might be him playing that intro. On the that string guitar. Okay, yeah, that's right. He played on The Gambler. He may have played on He Stopped Loving Her Today. I'm not sure. But the list is long. I did try to look up like a lot, at least once or twice, the things he played on, and it's astounding. But what a kind, sweet man he was. And
that could be a very high-pressure gig, too.
Yes.
How did he handle that?
He would learn somebody's music in the cage, they call it, just like a little rehearsal space just off the side of the stage, and like 5 minutes later walk out and just play it perfectly in front of 4,000 people. He was not at all rattled by the situation, and he's had the ability to grasp it, learn it, and play it calmly and perfectly. He was just at a level of master musicianship where he was not going to get nervous about that stuff. But he did do this, okay? I've heard a couple of funny stories like this about the Opry. One night we played I'm Not Lisa, and we had our own band, I think, doing it. But it really all fell on the piano player. The piano player he's the only guy doing anything for the first like 45 seconds, right? And so we're all just standing there waiting to start playing while the piano player does this long thing. And afterwards, he told me that Jimmy Capps stood over next to him saying, "Oh, the pressure. Oh, the pressure. And he said, this was not helping, as he was trying to. As I've heard a few funny stories that they wind people up like that the Opry guys will play a little prank on somebody once in a while. But they never did any pranks on me. Jimmy was just always so nice to me and made me feel like I belonged there. I never really felt like I did. I always felt like somebody was going to go, what's this guy doing? Get him out of here. But nobody ever did. And Jimmy was one of those people that just was so nice and always acted like that I was part of it. And I love that dude. And he was an amazing guitar player. I think he was the best rhythm guitar player I have ever come across. And I'm not knocking his lead playing. I'm just saying that rhythm playing was like taught me a world of things,
Andy Reese tells a story about when he first came to town. Andy said he felt pretty good about himself and his abilities. Andy's a great guitar player.
I was the best in my town, man.
San Francisco, even,
That's the way everybody feels, and that's when they come here. And they come here and they're like, oh.
He sat in on a session, and Jimmy Capps was playing acoustic guitar, and I forget who the other person were, but they were playing off of each other. And he was really listening, Andy was, and he kind of realized, I have no freaking idea what I'm doing. These guys, because they're just playing guitar, acoustic guitar, but hearing them do it, he realized what they're doing is just a whole different thing.
I always said that when you watch Jimmy play rhythm, it's like taking a bunch of lessons. It's like it ingrains into you, I remember one night, like a lot of times I'd walk out there and just watch from behind, just soak up the whole situation on the Opry. And I remember standing behind, like Jimmy Capps is back there with the other cats, and they're reading the entire thing off of a chart. They have no idea how the song goes, but they're reading the whole thing off of a chart, playing it perfectly. And it seems like, I might be making this up, but it seems like they were back there talking. Like talking about fishing or something while they're reading a chart and playing it perfectly for this audience behind an artist. The level of proficiency was high with Jimmy Capps. High.
Do you remember the last time you saw him?
No, it would have been one of the times I played on the Opry, which would have been no later than early 2014. Maybe late 2013. So I don't think that I saw him after that, other than on Facebook. His wife, Michelle. So she would post a lot of stuff, and she still does. Post a lot of stuff about Jimmy. She worked on the Opry, and they kind of had a thing, and then they got married. She was the one that would get all the charts together and everything, and she was part of the whole preparation for performing and everything. And Jimmy's buried right over here at Spring Hill Cemetery with a lot of other famous musicians.